Well, I'll tell you this, there aren't too many college basketball games before Thanksgiving that are going to have, what we had here tonight. I thought it was a heck of a game. We had a tremendous crowd, as always, and I'm disappointed we weren't able to take advantage of it with a win. But I credit Indiana. Trace Jackson Davis obviously is one of the best players in college basketball, and he played like it tonight. 13 for 16 from the floor, 4 offensive rebounds, 30 points. At least from our perspective, we tried to mix it up. He's gotten a lot better at handling the post trap, and I also believe that Malik Renault and Jalen Hood-Schifino, 2 players that didn't play on Indiana's team last year, give them like an extra burst of talent. So the first thing is they scored 50 points on us in the paint, and obviously Trace had a lot to do with that. I thought the other key to the game was just the first 4 minutes of the second half. To me, that's what I'm the most disappointed in. We played the first 20 minutes. The game kind of went back and forth. But the first 4 minutes of the second half, we weren't ready. We fouled 5 times in 3 minutes. We couldn't get our defense set, missed a couple shots, didn't have the same energy. In Indiana, they can really play when they get up and down, like when they push. They're athletic, and a lot of our fouls just stemmed from not being set. And the rest of the half, we played with starting point guard with 4 fouls. They're one or two shots from being in the bonus for the remaining 16 minutes. The game changed right away, and that's a lesson for our team. Also happy with our effort. We fought to the end. We had a shot coming down the left side of the lane to win, and that's not lost on us. I also thought that our offense was certainly good enough to win. Scored 79 points. I respect Indiana's defense a great deal. It's a very good defensive group, and we had 40 points of our own in the paint. When you have 40 points in the paint, 12 turnovers, you're 7 for 17 from 3, 28 for 64 from the floor. A lot of times you're going to leave the game with the win. Our defense wasn't good enough. We just couldn't handle Indiana in the paint. So that's my story.
Sean, one of the things that we talked about yesterday in your press conference was how this is a game where you're going to learn quite a bit about your team. What are you walking away from this, having learned about your team?
Well, I already knew that we have to continue to improve defensively, all areas, and we can do it. We have to continue to add depth and develop our bench. We have a number of young players that I have no doubt, as long as we stick with them in the next couple of weeks, or if you watch us in the month of January, that we're going to be a deeper team. We're going to be able to have guys come in off the bench and contribute more. We believe in them. It's just so easy. Tonight, I played to win. Tonight was about one thing, trying to win the game tonight. So because of that, we tried to put our best foot forward and go with our most experienced players. But that doesn't mean that's how we're going to do it moving forward. But defensively, we have to get better across the board, and we have to develop just a little bit more pop, a little bit more depth off the bench, and I think that we have the ability to do both. Look, I also tell you, Kobe Jones, there are a lot of kids, they would never have played tonight. We didn't put him at further risk, but this is a guy that didn't do anything for 7 days. I'm looking down, and he played 36 minutes. He gave us everything, which, you talk about not only a great player, but a great kid. I really respect him for playing and doing what he did in tonight's game. Not many guys are able to do that. So hopefully we can get through the weekend, and as our schedule unfolds, we can get him healthier. I thought he did a good job, but look, when you don't practice for 7 days, you kind of do the best that you can. But I tip my hat to Kobe for doing what he did tonight.
What do you think the failures were defensively, particularly around the basket? Was it more just Trace Jackson Davis is really good at what he does, or what did you want to see better out of your team defensively?
You don't want to lose the game to Indiana and have Trace score 30. You want to lose and A couple guys had to make some shots, and they did. You did the best you could against Trace. We don't fall into that category. We lost the game because we had no answer for him. I will say it is not an easy task. And I thought there were probably 6 to 8 plays where it really wasn't about basketball, it was about get the rebound. And I'm not so sure we got more than 2 of them. There was just too many of those plays in the second half, especially where we needed to secure the ball a couple times off of a missed free throw, where they were the more physical, tougher team rebounding. Our defensive rebounding tonight was part of our demise on defense.
Sean, how do you think this game will help you down the stretch or even further down the road this season in terms of your ability to build a lead? They come back, you take a couple of second half punches, you still come back. How does that help you as a coach get through your team?
I mean, there's a lot of lessons that we can take from this game. I think the biggest point is, playing in the Big East Conference, 20-game season, playing a very tough non-conference season. We have to keep our eyes on what's most important, and that is getting better and improving, learning from good or bad. If Adam Kunkel went down the left lane and made the shot, it would have felt like a parade here tonight, but we still have the same issues. Like, Trace still would have had 30, they would have still scored 50 in the paint. We still would have put ourselves in a bad position by coming out the first 4 minutes at halftime. So I think it's those things we have to learn from and get better. We have a good basketball team, and I know we can get better, and that becomes the quest. But losing to Indiana, look, I'm disappointed. Anytime we have a chance to play in front of that type of crowd, our goal is to win the game. But we lost to a good basketball team, and they did a good job.
Coach, give us a coach's view on Trace Jackson-Davis. What are the things that make him so difficult to deal with over the course of the entire game?
Well, I would say that because of how much experience he's gained in college, it's really hard to double team him. Maybe more difficult today than it would have been a year or 2, 3 years ago. So because of that, you have to guard him one-on-one. The way he plays, he's as almost adept off the lane driving as he is in the low post. And look, there aren't a lot of big guys that can move their feet. We have 2 very good big guys, experienced, Zach Fremantle and Jack Nunji. And Trace took their punches and obviously did a great job. But his efficiency, 13 for 16, it's hard to overcome that. 50 points in the paint. I mean, I got to think he alone had 30 in the paint, right? So 30 of the 50 came from one player. I wish we could be a little bit better at dealing with him tonight. We weren't. And we went zone a couple times, as a change-up. They missed one shot, but Indiana knows what they're doing against the zone. They hit 2 of their 4 threes on the night came against our zone, and they did a good job shot faking, ball faking, and they did a good job again. Tip my hat to them. I'll also tell you that Xavier Johnson's a really good player. For me not to talk about him, I mean, he had 23. So 53 of their points came from those 2 guys. They're experienced. Xavier's a very good guard. Obviously, Trace is a very good big guy. And it was those 2 guys that really were very difficult for our defense.
Coach, is fouling a concern going forward, or is that more about the matchup that you guys faced tonight?
We've been okay fouling. Again, I'm going to go back to what I said. You got to remember, in 3.5 minutes of the second half, we fouled 5 times. It changed the complete complexion of the game. At that point, Sule Boom had 4, and they're 2 fouls away from the bonus, and there's still 16 minutes to play. That's the one thing, how we left halftime, being ready for that first 4-minute segment of the second half. That really hurt us.
One more question.
Sean, you're 4 games in, back at Xavier. Huge game tonight, obviously. What's it feel like for you to be back to be back out there, to be back in front of this loyal and hungry fan base?
I mean, it feels amazing. I feel guilty right now because we lost, right? So, you know, when you lose at home, it's a tough pill to swallow, especially here in the Cintas Center, where we've had so much pride and success over the last 30 years, 25 years. But, you know, this is one of the great places to be at as a player, as a coach. I know that. I'm thrilled, grateful to be here, and looking forward to continuing to develop. We have a good basketball team. I know that. And tonight, there are times we really showed that. We just weren't good enough defensively to win tonight's game. And I also will say, very proud of our guys. We fought to the end. I thought there was one moment at about the 6-minute mark where we could have kind of waved the white flag and lost by 15 or 10. We had a shot to win it, and that's important. And we can build on that.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.